Divorce is one of the most challenging transitions in life, and without the right guidance, it can quickly turn into a disaster. Welcome to Dodging Divorce Disasters, the show that helps you navigate the legal, financial, and emotional pitfalls of divorce before they happen. In each episode, I sit down with a top professional in the divorce community to hear real-life war stories, cautionary tales from the trenches of divorce. But I won't leave you with just the horror stories. The experts will break down exactly what went wrong and, more importantly, how you can avoid making the same mistakes. Whether you're in the early stages of separation, deep in the process, or supporting someone through it, we are here to help you move forward with clarity, confidence, and fewer regrets. I'm your host, Lori Hawkins, and I am a local expert in divorce real estate. I am so excited to be sharing these incredible professionals with you. Let's dive in. Because a good friend of mine, Erin Egan, is joining us today, and she has got great information for anybody that is going through a divorce. Things that I had no idea until I met her that these were even issues. Now, she is an agency owner and a health insurance broker. And I am just going to let you, Erin, kind of do your own bio, the name of your company, what you do, and we'll go from there. But we're glad you're here.
Well, thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it. I'm Erin Egan. I own Vimirra Insurance, where we do one thing well, and that is strictly health insurance. So we do everything from Medicare, the Affordable Care Act, Marketplace, dental, vision, hearing, international health insurance, which is very important. But we like to be a master of one, not a jack of all trades. So we just do health insurance. And we're located in the Lake Norman area. So a local independent agency, highly involved with our community, with our local chamber, and definitely love to serve our community.
And I think that's exactly where I met you, was through the chamber.
Yep.
I do believe. I think that's how we got connected when I joined the chamber. You said international health insurance. Is that like if I was going to go overseas for me to get additional insurance? Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Yes. So the big part of it is really being medically evacuated back to the United States. So you may have partial international health insurance with your current coverage, but no regular health insurance is offering international medically evacuated. And on average, it is $56,000 to be medically evacuated back to the United States. So yes, and it's really affordable. Like I put a family of four, you know, for $85. Like it's not drastically, it's so worth it for peace of mind because literally, GoFundMe should not be an insurance policy. And you can go on there and find plenty of people that are trying to raise money to get back to the United States.
I have heard that story
Yeah.
so many times, just
Yeah.
like you said, on Facebook or Instagram. I had no idea. As much as my daughter travels, never has that ever been mentioned before because insurance is like in a world of its own.
Yeah.
Unless you work in it, there are so many little nuances about it
Hmm.
that who would know? Who would know to get international insurance?
Yep. You
That
don't
is
know.
amazing.
You don't know until you're stuck over in right now. A fellow agent has a client stuck in Israel right now and $119,000 to get medically evacuated back.
That is crazy, and that's not even what we're here to talk
I
about,
know.
but still, when you said that, I was like, "International insurance?" I'm not even sure exactly what that is. Well, okay, I always like to start off with just a little bit of, like, a fun fact, and you have 2 really good ones. You mentioned you love Kenny Chesney, and how many times have you seen him in concert?
For probably a period of time from 2000 to 2010, probably 50 times at least.
So did you just follow him everywhere across the United States, or did you go international, or does he go international?
Uh, he hasn't been international, which is interesting. Yeah, just followed him. It really is about I mean, you have to think about 2000. We really didn't have Facebook at that time. We only had message boards back then, and we would travel and we would make a community amongst ourselves. We were like the groupies. And so the amount of times that I have saw him kind of aligned with when all of us could get together, the community that we had created. How could we get to the venues? But also too, like, there are far more better venues. Like, I will not go to a stadium show. It's just too long. And, we like to see him in little sheds. Like, I saw him in Key West at Sloppy Joe's, which is like the size of like the room that you and I are all constantly in at the chamber. Like, that's it. Like, I mean, if we can get to one of those shows, that's what we get to. We don't want to see him in a stadium show. We don't want to see him in the Sphere at Vegas where he just finished either.
You know, I went to Nashville in August of last year
Huh?
for just a very short little trip, but I went with a friend of mine who was actually going to go see Kenny Chesney. Yeah,
Mhm.
and honestly, Chesney. See, I'm not a country music fan, and I
Okay.
did not even know who he was when they said they were going to get tickets to go to that, and they were like, "Do you wanna go?" I said, "No, I don't."
Okay, we
But
this
they did make me
we're
listen
ending
to
this right
his
now.
they did make me listen to his music, and it was very good. I don't listen really to any music, so it's nothing against country music. But another cool thing is you lived in Ireland and you taught, what, 5th grade?
Yes,
How
yes.
did that come
So,
about? How long were you there?
well, that was so we went over and we did our student teaching there for college. So we did a semester over there. It was just phenomenal. Just the European lifestyle of just no rush, no hurry, no fuss or muss. I mean, it was amazing. And teachers, I mean, the teachers are so overworked here in the United States, and they spend so much of their own money and so much time outside of the classroom. And literally, like, over there, like, you just like show up like 5 minutes before the bell rings, and this is how we're going to have class.
Wow.
So, but it was amazing. It was a beautiful school, Black Rock College, right outside of Dublin, all boys school, and it was a phenomenal time to live and spend time in another culture. So, I always say I want to retire on an island, and I always thought that was going to be a tropical island. I'm pretty sure Ireland is my island that I want to retire on now.
A lot of people are moving there.
Yep. Yep.
Do they go to school year round, or is it, like we do school here in the United States?
They have summers. Yep. Summer break. Yes.
That's
Holiday.
good.
Holiday.
Yeah. Yeah. They just jump on a train or something and do holidays in France.
Yeah, once you get over to Europe, it's so easy to travel along. Yes, definitely.
Exactly. That's what I hear. I've never been out of the United States. So okay, let's kind of jump into why I wanted to have you on this podcast.
Mhm.
When we first met and we're kind of talking about the divorce area when you found out that
Mhm.
I did divorce real estate, and you said, there are so many things when I am helping people going through a divorce that I wish people knew so that they could make better choices. Now, I know you have crazy divorce story, and I want you to share that with us. But then I want us to kind of jump into all the things that you have told me along the way in our friendship that my mouth keeps dropping open because I know our listeners do not know these things and they need to know them. They are important, just like international insurance.
Parents that don't know.
They need to know this stuff when you're
Yeah.
going through a divorce. But first, share your crazy divorce story with us.
I have a client that had to buy health insurance for his 2 children, him and his 2 children, and he was looking to explore his options. And during the what we call the discovery phase, I learned that his wife has access, or his ex-wife has access to Champ VA, which is most people know TRICARE for Life. That's the health insurance for our military who retired from the military. Champ VA is is insurance for dependents of our veterans that are 100% disabled, and it is just as phenomenal. It's practically TRICARE for Life. It pays for everything. no network, no prior authorization. It's the best insurance that we have in our country, and the wife had access to it. And there's also a maximum out of pocket of $3,000 for the entire family. $3,000 for the entire family. So it doesn't matter if you have one person on there or 10 kids on there, it's $3,000. And I found out that she had access to that. And I'm like, look, this is the most phenomenal coverage like your children can have. Like, who would not want to give their children? And he went back to her and she was like, no, I need you to pay 600 and some dollars every single month for your employer coverage. I'm not putting the kids on Champ VA. So her bitterness and, her needing to stick it to her ex-husband is costing her children the most comprehensive coverage. And I see so much of that. I see it's so much about dollars and revenge, and we're talking about your children's health coverage,
That
paying
is
the price.
crazy. That is a crazy story. Emotions run so high during a divorce. I mean, I know I have been there. I say that all the time on these podcasts. I look back at things that I said and things that I did, and it makes me embarrassed at times because it's not who I am or who I was even then, but it was just that I had so many raw emotions
Mhm.
that I just wanted, to either get even or make them hurt the way that I was hurting, whatever the situation. And I would like to think that I would want to put my children first, but who knows? It depends on the situation and what's going on. In something like that, would there be an opportunity once everything calmed down, and say he did put his kids on his insurance, could that be changed? Could at any point she have added them to that insurance if she had calmed down and thought, "I should have put them on my insurance"?
She can, excuse me, she can. They'd have to wait for the enrollment period, not so much the enrollment period for Champ VA because you can get on that. But if he put them on the group coverage, he would have to wait to drop them during their open enrollment period or have a qualifying event. So they couldn't just up and do it just today because she came to her senses.
And that's true with most insurance, right? The enrollment period starts in October. When does the enrollment start?
For Medicare, it's October 15th through December 7th. And then for individuals and families, individuals under 65 and families, it's going to be from November 1st to December 15th. It's really important. They're rolling it back. The last 5 years, we've had an extension to January 15th, but they are rolling that back to December 15th. And so anytime outside of that time frame, you have to have a qualifying event, which is you lost your employer coverage, a marriage, a death, a birth, a move. You cannot just transition over one or the other.
So for people listening this that are going through a divorce, this is a time that they are legally allowed to make a change for themselves and their children, right? So what should they know? What are some of the things that we have discussed that they need to know when trying to decide whose insurance they should go on?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is that it seems that when I have clients call me and they are reading their separation agreement or their court-ordered agreement, the insurance is just way too broad stroke. This parent is covering it, and that's it. And what happens is that when you divorce, nothing is going to be whether the kid is 16 or whether the kid is 6, the insurance options can change drastically, especially where we are right now with insurance as a country. Employer coverage isn't always great anymore. And so we can't just assume that the mother is always going to carry the best insurance for the child or the father's going to carry the best insurance for the child. We really want to start structuring it that the best insurance, the most comprehensive insurance that's available to the child should be used.
That would be great if that could actually be written
Yeah.
into the court order, right? and then they could come to you to do the research to see which would be best. It's just like shopping for a mortgage. You know, you go and see. I know a lot of times when people are doing new construction and builders will give them these great loan options because they want you to use their in-house mortgage company. But I always have them still check to see where they can get the best rate, terms,
Mhm.
all of that
Yeah.
type of thing, and it's no different. But it should be required in there to do what's best for the children, unlike the story you just told,
Yeah.
where emotion made her
Yeah.
children go on an inferior insurance policy.
Yeah. Yeah. And there definitely needs to be more in regards to the other big component. And this is really more how I was able to kind of connect with you is that not only do insurance options may change, but then we also have the issue that people lose their jobs. And so now they're going to, look for insurance outside of group insurance, or people decide to go out on their own and they decide to become entrepreneurs. I have an entrepreneur that is called me up and he is having health insurance, covering health insurance for his kids for that's his responsibility moving forward. But he's not claiming the kids as dependents every single year. They are, claim one year and then the mother claims the other year and he claims and they claim. And so that really messes up when when you're going to become an entrepreneur and you're going to get health insurance through the marketplace, that really messes up the premium. So he's right now paying something very affordable for the three of them, just a couple $100s a month. And I said, by the way, if you're not going to claim the kids next year, you're looking at $900 next year. So how you claim the kids definitely also plays a factor into what kind of health insurance we can provide for your health insurance.
See, I bet people don't think about that either at all.
It's all too broad stroke. This parent takes this provides the health insurance, and then this is how we're divvying up dependents.
There's so many little things like that when it comes to insurance. Something you just said when you were just talking made me think of something. I should have written it down because now I can't remember. Now I can't
Come
remember
back.
what you said,
It will come back to you.
but I know. Okay, so what's the best advice that you could give to someone that is going through a divorce? What should they take to their attorney? What are things that they need to make sure that they cover so that the kids do have the best insurance and that type of thing?
I would definitely take their employer, if they have employer coverage or through it's the marketplace, take the actual coverage, right? You'd be kind of surprised. I mean, I guess it's in some ways it's a good thing that people don't know what their maximum out of pocket is, what their deductible is, what's that. So to me, if people don't know that, that means they're healthy. They haven't been negatively impacted by that. So that's a double-edged sword when people don't know that. But they have to take the actual coverage of what it's going to cost them to go to the emergency room, to stay into the hospital. Um, and compare it to apples and apples, because I do have people who will call me and they thought they were buying traditional health insurance and they don't have traditional health insurance. And unfortunately, the way they learn when they don't have a traditional health insurance is when they need it. I've been diagnosed with cancer and I got looped into this national PPO, and I've now learned that it's actually a fixed indemnity plan and I only have 30,000 for chemotherapy. Yeah. That's a tough lesson. So it's really important that we actually take the coverage that both parties, both parents have, and compare it to apples and apples. Because it's not just the premium. And I have that across the board with all of my clients. It's not just about the premium. It's really, at the end of the day, your maximum out of pocket. That's the whole point of insurance. What is your worst case scenario? You're protecting your assets. You're protecting the home that's giving your children a safe place to sleep every night. You're protecting the car. You're protecting everything that you have worked for, your retirement, to enjoy your grandchildren. And so the point of insurance is to protect that. And you need to know what your maximum out of pocket is. God forbid one of the kids have a serious illness.
Exactly. Now, I know all real estate agents are not created equally. And I'm assuming probably all insurance agents or health insurance broker, gets
Yeah.
your title correct, are not created equally either. I guess everyone in your field you're supposed to know this stuff.
Hmm.
I don't know if all of them do. I'm assuming they do, but they may not communicate it to their clients.
Yeah.
Is that true? Do you find that to be a problem that someone that comes to you in dire need and was really working with another insurance agent was never told this stuff? Does that happen in your field?
All the time. All the time. Yeah. I mean, I started in this business in Medicare where it is heavily regulated, where we have to make sure doctors are in network, prescription drugs are covered. I'm a type A personality and I attention to details. And so you definitely need the amount of people who call me and they'll show me a plan and I'm like, your doctor's not even in network with this. So you definitely need to be cautious of someone that's just, looking to do quick quotes and get you enrolled. But also like this is probably like my strength is also my weakness is that I care too much. I don't know that a lot of brokers are saying, wait a minute, like we have a divorce situation here because really that's time away from business, us figuring out what your divorce agreement is. I mean, there's no money transaction regarded to that. But at the end of the day, I don't want my clients in the wrong plan because if I get them in the right plan, which means either they stay on Cobra or they stay on one of their group coverage, I know that that's going to come back to me tenfold. There was a client today. I'll just tell you this quick story. One of my calls today is a client I've been talking to back and forth multiple times, and they're leaving employer coverage for the first time. And they're going out on their own. They're leaving employer coverage for the first time. So they definitely have a lot of feelings. And they ended up, his wife went part-time, and then the wife's going to eventually go on his own. So we were surprised when she went part-time, she was able to keep her coverage. So he called me and he says, we're getting ready, but we're actually expecting a cancer diagnosis. And so what does this mean for us? Like, what are our options? And I literally sat on the phone with him for a half hour and said, look, this is, her employer coverage cannot drop her. The marketplace coverage cannot deny you. We went through the enrollment periods. When can he transition if not to? And I even said to him, look, their target date is November, or I'm sorry, their target date is September. I'm like, we don't want to start over with a new deductible maximum out of pocket if there's cancer in play in September. Like, stay on your Cobra. And I even went further and said, you might want to stay on your Cobra in January because it might be far more comprehensive coverage in regards to the cancer. So I definitely take pleasure in getting lost in the details.
Well, I love that you put your clients first. That is something that we very much have in common when we are talking about our respective businesses.
Yeah.
We always get pulled in and probably do more than we're supposed to do a lot of the time because we do care.
Yeah.
It's important to us, which is a strength, like you said, it's a strength and a weakness, I guess,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
more strength, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you can think of that we need to tell our listeners out there? Any other words of wisdom? It's very important that they choose wisely their agents, from what I'm understanding you to say. And I know from personal experience myself.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you definitely want someone that's particularly if they're going to, have several years of navigating health insurance, understanding what we're dealing with, understanding that every single year it's going to be a question of is the entrepreneur parent that has access to the marketplace coverage, is that going to be the best coverage versus, the work versus and having a agent that's willing to look at those two plans. Like I spend plenty of time looking at other plans to make sure that they're in the right plan. So you definitely want someone that's going to want to hold your hand along the way and make sure at the end of the day, because that's the investment that you're making for your children. I mean, that's what it all
Exactly.
comes down to. God forbid something happened to your children, a major illness. We want to make sure that they're properly covered. And again, you're working hard. We don't want to be spending your savings or pulling out your 401k to be covering cancer treatments, God forbid.
No, I agree. And let me make sure they understand this and make sure that I'm saying this correctly. If they have insurance right now with someone else, but they're going through a divorce and they hear this podcast and they go back to their broker and they're like, look, can you look and see? This is what we're talking about doing in our separation agreement. Is this what we should do? That broker kind of blows them off or does not get into the weeds with them because of them going through a divorce. If they wanted to, they could bring the stuff to you and say, can you look at this?
Yep.
And then if they're happy with what you say, then they could change to you midstream because of the divorce. Is that right? Or would they have to keep the coverage with that insurance agent that they currently?
Well, it would depend. Like, I mean, divorce is a qualifying event. So if they've signed up through another broker and that's the coverage that they have for the rest of the year, that's the broker that they're going to have. But every year you have a new opportunity to get reestablished with a new broker if you need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, I can't thank you enough. This is such important information and it's very confusing. I know it just rolls off your tongue and you know all of this stuff so well. And I have heard you talk about this so much, but still, when I hear you speak of this, it's still like hearing it for the first time. So insurance is just a very difficult subject, I feel like. So I'm really glad that you are putting all this out there and you're getting your name out there because you really do know your stuff. You're one of the best that I know. So highly recommend. Now, I'm going to be putting all your information at the end of this podcast, but just tell people, for those that are listening, what's the best way to reach you. And you might want to spell the name of your company too.
Okay. All right. Well, before I do that, I just want to, pay the same kind compliment. You as well are amazing. I mean, we met and we just connected instantly, and you have been supportive for me in my moments of frustration when I'm dealing with some of these clients. And I'm like, can you believe this is what this husband just did? So, and you care. What bonds us is the same compassion and passion that you have for your clients navigating the divorce, and making sense of where they're resting their head at night. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
my company is Vimirra Insurance. It's spelled Vimirra. .com is the website. You can visit there. You can learn about us. You can schedule appointments on there. Feel free to give me a call as well at 704-227-5048. And I always encourage everyone to call or text. Happy to do so. And as well as my email at Erin@Vimirra.com.
And that's Erin, Erin, right?
Yes, thank you. Yep, Erin, yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much. It was so good to see you, and we will talk soon.
All right. Thank you, Lori.
You're welcome.
This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The information contained herein is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, please seek an attorney.